I'm Paula Bridges, and welcome to Dream Consciousness Circuit. Now, this was created by Dr. Barbara Condron, and with her help, we are going to plug into a truer reality. Dr. Barbara Condron is here to take a deep dive into a dream I had regarding self awareness. She's a renowned author, spiritual advisor, well sought out speaker, educator, counselor, and creator of dreamschool.org. Now, I've broken this discussion into 7 separate episodes. You can watch them separately, or you can just keep watching them one after another. I want you to watch how Dr. Barbara dissects my dream. Note the questions she asks so that you may learn how to listen to your dreams. Ask yourself questions and interpret it to understand that message from your inner self. Let's get started.
So I'm here with Paula Bridges. Hello, Paula. How you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing good, really good. We have a great weather here today, 61 and sunny.
Wow. And we must say that this is in the month of January. So that's
Right.
good. Very nice. Um, yeah, you sent me a dream that you had this morning because we were together last evening on a new moon, experiencing a particular online exercise that I offer that actually goes on for about 3 hours. And there's a lot of interaction with those. And we'll get more into that probably later. But first off, I think it'd be important for you to tell us a little bit about you and, um, yeah, who you are, what you do, particularly in regards to dreams. So tell us a little
Okay.
bit about you.
All right. Sure. About, I guess, 10 or 11 years ago, I started a Dream School Scholar program with the School of Metaphysics. And I kept on with it and on with it. And pretty soon I got to the point where I decided that I wanted to go further and coach other people. So I went all the way through to the coaching and finished that. And then I opened my own business of dream interpretation, where I have a website and I do dream interpretations and have YouTube videos of really short, like 7 minutes, and just picking a little subject and a little dream and just trying to explain how the universal language of mind works with that. And people seem to enjoy watching those. I put little cartoons on them sometimes, but and then recently I have started watercoloring, and I'm learning how to do that. So it's just a continuous learning thing with me, I think. I thought about that this morning. I was thinking, because I did a Dharma test, and my Dharma said on this test, it said this morning that it was educator. And I thought, I think I've been more of a student than an educator,
Hmm.
especially in the last few years. But anyway, and I have retired this year, so I'm do have a little bit more time to invest in studying different things, and I am enjoying that. But as far as dreams go, I believe that dreams are a message from our inner self, and they don't lie. They always tell you the truth if you just know how to interpret them. And that's what I'm here for. I just want to help people learn how to interpret dreams. And sometimes it takes me a minute. I'm not fast. And I am one of those kind of people who like to look at it, think about it, but I do love it.
I know that you've helped a lot of people in what you've been able to clarify because dreams are a language all unto themselves, and they are truly a message that comes from the inner subconscious mind to the conscious mind, trying to help us out. And I know I'm not telling you anything, but whoever listens to this will,
Hmm.
anything new. Um, they'll want to know this background. With the way that Paula and I both share the vision that we have of dream interpretation and what it means, that it's in the realm of any individual, number one, that anybody can interpret their dreams, and that the dreamer is the authority in their dreams, that you're the only one who can say what your dream really means. What we can help you with is the language that the dreams come in. The images mean something, and it is a universal language, which a lot of people have talked about music being a universal language. And I think that tones actually work with the physical body, and that dreams work with the mind in a similar fashion. And that's something that we could talk about at some other time, or later if you want to. But there's a relationship between sound and sight, and how they coordinate between the two. That's very important in dreams, and obviously that comes up when there are what we call voiceover dreams. Or in other words, there's no images, but there's this voice that's saying these things to the dreamer, right? So that's when you're more geared toward the physical body, your everyday action, your daytime, that kind of thing. um, the message is always pertaining to that part of you, the awake part of you, and what you can do there. Whereas if you have visuals, then you're talking more about the subconscious mind. You're talking about what you've been creating and how it's moving. So the way that we see dreams is that they are messages from the inner self. They are for you, about you, and they will always tell you the state of your conscious awareness. And the reason why we're talking today is because Paula's dream is all about self-awareness. And we thought that we would explore it a little bit, and we would tie it into how it fits into her life, just as a way of aiding people to understand the depth in their dreams and what we can really derive from them. You have anything that you'd like to add to that?
I just want to say one thing, that I have written my dream down just like I always do. And that is my main advice for anybody that wants to try to remember dreams, is to get that pen and paper and put it beside your bed with the next date on it. And that way, even if you wake up in the middle of the night, you can write something down to help you remember your dreams. Because if I don't do that, I'm the world's worst. If I don't do that, I cannot remember my dreams. I mean, my husband, he can wake up and remember 3 dreams without even writing them down. I'm like, how do you do that? But that's my advice to anybody.
Yeah.
And on purpose, I have not analyzed this dream, because I have Dr. Barbara, the expert, and I wanted to be open, and I wanted it to just to come natural and have a discussion about it. So I don't know.
I
Yeah,
love
so
that.
I can I can go over the dream, or you can read it, or however you want to do it.
Let's go ahead and have you tell it.
Okay.
I'm broadening the screen here, so I'm not sure how this is going to get recorded, but we'll find out when we get there, huh?
Yeah, we will.
Yeah. So,
This
yeah,
is kind of an impromptu,
it is. It's,
great idea.
yeah. And this is the first one we're doing, so we're a little bit klutzy with it, but it'll get all worked out. We'll get our script down,
Right.
and that kind of thing, which is really interesting because we don't want to script what we're doing. So
That's what I was fixing to say. Yeah, that
the
makes it a
script
little bit more
is the
fun.
dream script
Uh-huh.
itself, which of course
Yeah.
is a whole course study. Um, yeah. So first, let's see, what do we need to let people know first, Paula? That the dream's about the dreamer.
Uh-huh.
Every
Everything in the dream is about the dreamer. And
So without telling the narrative yet of the dream, um, did you have people in your dream?
I did. I had people in my dream.
Okay.
I had a place in my dream.
Hmm.
So you have the people, places, you have all the nouns, people, places, things. I had
Right.
things in my dream. So
Mhm.
it kind of had most everything in my dream. It had talking. It had a little bit of a movement, not too much, but the main thing in my dream is one of the symbols, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay. So to what you just said, in people looking at their dreams to derive meaning, to look at, I teach it in terms of the elements of storytelling, because I see dreaming and dream time as a connection, a circle, a sphere of movement. So what we're thinking about and dreaming about during the daytime is related to what we dream about at night. And there are a lot of people who suffer from sleep deprivation now, and not really being able to use their sleep time well, because it's that rest and restoration period. Um, you had to get past that to be able to get to the meaning part. So that's important to know. It's to make sure that you get adequate rest and sleep, and that you honor that. A lot of people are taking that for granted now, and I think part of it is that we are using technology, and the technology is fire. It's electrical, so it really revs us up, and that's why one of the suggestions for good sleep and good rest, and therefore dreams, is to be able to disavow all technology at least an hour before you go to bed, at least an hour, preferably like when the sun goes down. I think is a good time if you can do that. Um, that in itself becomes a discipline for a lot of people. But that immediately lets you calm down. It lets you mentally, emotionally, physically calm down. So that's one perhaps thing, because you've given them to have the journal by your bed. Very important. Very important how you go to sleep and rest, and nice room, fairly cool. Ben Franklin has a wonderful uh, essay that he wrote when he was doing his publishing days. This is fairly early in his career, when he was doing Poor Richard's Almanac, things like that. He wrote a whole article that tells you about how to have some kind of dream. It's not beneficent, but it's something like that. And he talks about the importance of like shaking out your bedclothes, airing out your bed. It's like he didn't talk about bed bugs and things like that, but now we might go there because we know so much more, several centuries later. But um, he talks about just basic staying cool, um, making sure that your bedclothes are aired out, what you need to do if you're not sleeping well, what you need to do if you're not dreaming, those kind of things. He gives a really quick tutorial in ways that you don't hear about. That's really important. So that's kind of cool. That's something to check out. And we can put that in the comments if we end up putting this up. We'll put that link into that so people can read the article themselves. And maybe someday we'll discuss it too. That would be fun. That would be good.
Mm-hmm.
So in your dream, when we look at your dream as a story, we have characters who are the people. We have place and time, which is very important. And as you were describing it, you were in essence really starting to give us the whole picture of what I see as a well-rounded dream. Because when you have people, places, and things in your dream, you have characters, you have a plot, you have a place and time, obviously, that happens. You have a kind of sense of movement that's going on in the dream. Then you have a depth of the message that you're able to receive. And this is where a lot of people, I think they become discouraged early, because if they're not used to remembering dreams, then they get frustrated very easy, because it's just not happening. It's not happening. And they cut it off. And it's kind of like, snatching success from the jaws of defeat kind of thing, where if you just stand there one more day, that everything would have changed. So if people are afflicted with that, then I think you and I probably would both say, just hang in there, stay with it. Don't get real discouraged in yourself, because the subconscious mind has a duty, which is to fulfill the desires that the conscious mind has. So it'll go extreme lengths to do that. And we'll talk about what that is in this dream that you had, and if what that element of desire is, and how your subconscious mind was taking what happened the day before and giving its feedback so that today could be different, because that really is the dream consciousness circuit. That's the way the day and the night connect in terms of our dreaming. So let's go ahead and hear the dream, and then we'll go back to the elements that start there.
I was walking through a neighborhood, and it was like I was door to door selling, and I was selling dream interpretation. I came to a house on the corner, and this neighborhood was an older neighborhood, kind of like one that I grew up in. And out comes this older gentleman. He had a big old belly, and he pats his belly like this, and he says, "I got to lose this weight." And we kind of chuckled at each other. And then his wife came out, and I don't remember in the dream telling them what I wanted, but they knew that I was wanting to talk to them. So they took me into the back of their house and into a door that was a room. And I said, "Oh, you live in the back of this place?" And they said, "No." So I knew they wanted to take me into this room, not into their house. And
Hmm.
in this room was like a storage room. It wasn't very cluttered, but it had a little bit of old furniture in there. And so we sat down, and I was going to talk to them about dreams and how important dreams were. And I knew that I wanted to sell them a dream interpretation, but it turned into actually just wanting to talk to them about dreams and how important they were. And that's before I could actually get into the whole conversation with them, I woke up.
It's funny because at the beginning you talked about the Dharma quiz that you found online and taken,
Uh-huh.
and it's talked about you being an educator,
Hmm.
and that's exactly what happened in the dream. That instead of a
It's
salesman,
true.
you were an educator.
True.
So there's that I see off the top of my head, which, I mean, that speaks to being able, dream interpreters are able to listen to people, not just to a dream, but to whatever information they give you, because the dreams occur because it's relevant to the dreamer's thinking during the day. And there's that cooperation between the two. So that's just one example of how that might relate in terms of something that happened, yesterday, or when did you do the quiz? Recently?
Just this morning.
Just this morning.
Just this morning, yeah.
So that would be an example to me of you responding to the dream in ways that perhaps, well, I would see it as an intuitive happening, what we call an intuitive happening.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. Because that happened this morning. So yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's great.
And then me and you doing this video, you know?
Yeah, which came just this morning because you sent the dream to me this morning. Right. So
Right.
it's like spur of the moment. It's like, let's do this.
Uh-huh.
Because of how we can hopefully aid people um, to understand how thinking happens. Because I see dreaming as thinking in the mind, not the brain. And there's a real distinguishment that's starting to happen between the brain, which is part of the body, therefore it's part of the physical part of the makeup of us, and the mind, which includes many dimensions of consciousness that it can experience. So it can go into probabilities of the future, or it can go into the past beyond the present time period and this particular life, and it can show you where things started, and it can tell you your health. There are all these different insights that the dreams can give you. This
Don't miss episode 2 to learn how Dr. Barbara uses the universal language of mind to explain the symbols in my dream.